What an insane month of tech we've had. We've had new products from DJI, new Apple products, a new 360 camera from GoPro. In this video, I'm gonna go off the dome and just talk about my thoughts on all this new tech and what I think is good and what I think is not. Oh yeah, also we've had all the new announcements from Meta as well, which is really interesting. First of all, let's talk about the announcement, the most recent one, which is the GoPro Max 2, the new 360 camera from GoPro. I think it's good that there's competition in the market. Currently, you only have Insta360 and now DJI, and then now, of course, GoPro is back in the game. Their previous GoPro Max was like quite a few years out of date. So this is a well-needed upgrade. However, looking at the specs, it's disappointing. I think GoPro is absolutely done. Their stock is down in the dirt. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So their biggest marketing thing is that it's true 8K, whereas some of the others are not technically true 8K. Aside from that, it does apparently have the ability for you to connect external microphones. The use case that they're showing you is using your AirPods to talk to the camera and get good audio through. But we know from tests of that, the audio quality coming through the headphones is absolutely terrible. I'm sure you can connect another mic through Bluetooth, something like the Mic Mini or any other type of microphone. I'm not sure how smooth that interface is. Once again, you have Insta360 that has made their own mics. They've got the GPS microphone as well as the Mic Air. And then of course, DJI has its whole ecosystem of mics, the Mic 2, the Mic 3, and then of course the Mic Minis as well that work with this camera. And you can also link up two to this camera as well. So I think they're definitely falling behind in that respect. When it comes to the design is very similar to its previous design and very similar to this. It's quite square and it has the two lenses in the middle as well, with a big grill on the front of it as well. They've added some features to the app which will allow you to do some auto editing stuff, but there's no way it's going to be as feature rich as the X5, at least in my opinion. I've not used it, like I say, but I can't imagine it's anywhere near as good as the X5. I think GoPro have been slacking. They've been sitting on their hands. I don't know what they've been doing. My last GoPro product was the Hero 10. Image coming out of this thing is really good, but still they're on the 13 now and I can't really see any difference. They still suck in low light, and with the low light comparisons of the Max 2, it also looks like it's not very good. It does have 10-bit color, which is more in line with the Osmo 360, which is nice. The X5 still only has 8-bit color, so there is a bit of an improvement there, and they're claiming it to be the most rugged 360 camera on the market, which I think they're probably pretty accurate for. So who is gonna want the Max 2? Probably people that are die-hard GoPro people that want it specifically for action sports. I can't imagine anybody that wants to use it for anything else would really be that interested in it, especially just as all of the ecosystems now on these other two cameras are built out so well with the accessories and all of that sort of stuff to make it way more appealing to start vlogging with and using these in everyday life. I can't see people using the GoPro Max for anything other than mostly action sports at this point. So that moves us on to DJI. DJI has announced the Nano. Once again, I do not have these products yet, so whenever I do, I'll make a full review about them to give you my nuanced details. This is just my off the top of my head what I think of these things. So you have the Nano, which is like a split camera thing that's more in line with the Insta360 Go Ultra, which has also just been released. Now, it's a really funny looking thing. It's like the Action 5 that's been shrunk and had a screen removed, and then a separate compartment that gives you the screen and the battery on top of it as well, which gives you the ability to externally view the camera and then of course snap it together and use it as one device as well. For me, I'm a little bit confused by it because when you remove the lens part, it's still about half the size of an Action 5, so it's bulky. There's a cap mount that they've been showing, but it seems like it's too heavy for the cap mount on its own. It's not really small enough to be mega discreet, and it's big enough that it could potentially have its own screen. It's just, I don't see how it works. One of the benefits is that it does have ND filters that you can get for it, which I think will make it very handy for putting on drones and stuff like that. And it apparently has the same sensor as the Action 5 Pro. So internally, it's probably very similar to the Action 5 Pro, but if you were to pull the camera module off of it and then have a separate screen. Personally, I don't see the use cases for it. If I was to get one, I would use it mostly without the screen and just use it connected to the app, which I think could be handy if that's the case. But for me, I don't really understand it. I have a Insta360 Go Ultra on the way, so I'll be testing that out. That apparently has a bigger sensor as well. So we'll see how that looks. I've seen comparison shots of the Ultra versus the Nano, and I think that the Ultra personally looks better. That's up for debate as well. We'll test that out in the future. But yeah, that's an interesting one from DJI. And then of course we had the DJI Mini 5 Pro, which has been anticipated for a long time. Now the Mini 4 Pro was pretty incredible. It had a really good image quality. It was so compact and very quiet and very versatile. It had all of the sensors around it, so it had omnidirectional sensing, and it was just so feature rich. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best DJI drones on the market, especially as it's so easily portable as well. Now they've of course come up with the update of that, which has better obstacle sensing, has better imagery, it has a 1-inch sensor in there, and it also has vertical filming as well. So there's no doubt that that thing is going to be incredible. The images online look really good on that as well, and I just think it's just a nice incremental upgrade from the Mini 4 Pro. Then that brings us on to Meta's new announcement with the Meta display. They've created an upgraded version of the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. They've brought out an upgraded version of that actually as well. But this is the display version of those things, which are a little bit chunkier, and honestly, I made a video about them. I do think they look a little bit goofy. They're a lot thicker to accommodate obviously all of that technology, but they also have a screen integrated in one eye. So you can kind of see a map in real time, like where you're going, and you can read messages and stuff like that, which is really cool. $799 is apparently the starting price for that. It also comes with a neural band, so it will read the input from your wrist, so you can write and apparently it will come up on the screen, and it's pretty accurate. And then you can select things by using your hands and it will read the input through your wrist, which I think is really interesting. From my understanding, you have to go and get it fitted, so you have to go to Meta Place. From my understanding, you can go to Best Buys and get this whole setup fitted and calibrated to you. I'd be curious to check that out. I'm also going to do that at some point in the future here as well, so I'll let you know about that. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting piece of tech. It's probably one of the first big name companies to release these out to the public. It looks like it's pretty good. They had some embarrassing failures with the keynote, but you have to understand that they are trying to not only have these things function, but also broadcast it so a whole audience can see it. So you would expect there to be some errors there as well. I'm really interested in this. The downsides of these glasses, of course, are going to be the same thing that I've had with the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, which is limited battery life. And then of course, the fact that it is currently restricted to Meta's proprietary apps. So of course, you're going to have the integration with WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, and they've also added a few more apps as well, but you're kind of currently stuck into their Meta ecosystem, which means that you're paying like $800 for a limited functionality essentially within their world. Rumors have it that they're going to be creating their own app store, which I think is really interesting. And I think it could be the start of them essentially leapfrogging a whole era of devices. So of course they've not made any phones, unlike some of the other big tech companies, and they're just going straight into wearables, which is pretty insane. And they could end up being the dominant player in that field. It almost seems like they kind of are already, at the moment at least. You have, of course, Google developing stuff, and then Samsung as well. I think it's really interesting from that point, but I'm not convinced after the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses having them be almost useless at this point with the battery life. I'm not really sure how those are going to come across. I don't think that they're trying to hit the masses with this device. I think they're trying to get a small amount of dedicated early adopters, which is fair, and I'll probably be one of those, so I'll announce back on that. They've also updated apparently their Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses as well. I don't know too much about that at this point. So then that brings us to Apple and all the devices that they've launched. They've given a bunch of upgrades to various different things, but the main ones have been, of course, the new iPhone 17 lineup and 17 Pro, and then of course the AirPods Pro. So AirPods Pro got a good upgrade. They have now a heart rate sensor inside of them. They've also had a redesign in terms of the shape. The case is a little bit different as well. And then apparently it has 2 times the noise cancellation of the 2s, which is insane because the AirPods Pro 2 noise cancellation is really crazy when you first hear it. But I'm noticing now that I'm hearing a lot more external sounds with noise cancellation on the AirPods Pro 2. It makes me want to get the latest ones for that enhanced noise cancellation. Whereas whenever I first got the AirPods Pro 2, it was insane how much noise it blocked out. I still think it's very good, but I do wonder whether either I got used to that noise cancellation or whether they made it worse on the 2s. But the 3s look very appealing from various different things. They've added a bunch more features to it. Live Translate has also been added, which I think is going to be backwards compatible to the AirPods Pro 2 and some of the other models as well. And then that brings us on to the 17 range. If you look at the 17 model, it looks very similar to the 16, but the Pros are a lot different. They have the new camera notch at the back, which covers the whole width of the phone as opposed to just a section of the phone, which makes it unique in the way that it looks. And then of course they've had this vibrant orange color. It's really good for marketing. I mean, you know immediately when you have the new iPhone 17, which I think is really clever. It doesn't really do much functionally. They've added a 8x zoom to the telephoto lens, which is further than the previous model. And they've upgraded all of the cameras now to 48 megapixel. From my understanding though, the 8x zoom is actually cropping more into the sensor. So you're gonna have a bit of reduced image quality there, but then you have a bigger sensor. They've also integrated a vapor cooling system, which will apparently allow the phone to stay cooler for longer, which will help the battery life as well. It's got a huge amount of battery space. Whenever you've seen these things being taken apart online, most of it is taken up with either battery or camera modules, which is insane to think that they've managed to shrink all of that tech down into a tiny little motherboard. But that looks great. And then of course it has the new front sensor. This is throughout the whole range of the iPhone 17 models, and I think this is probably the biggest upgrade or the biggest reason to upgrade, which is a square sensor in the front facing camera. It's an upgraded sensor giving you better image quality and allows you to take both landscape and horizontal photos and videos without having to turn the camera awkwardly on its side, which is amazing. But it's also kind of strange as they've made such a big deal in the previous model with the new camera button on the side, which is designed to be used like this. Now we're having it like this. Of course you can still reach it with your thumb here, but the idea is that you can take a selfie and then choose later on whether you want it in landscape or vertical mode. And then it's also added center stage, which is a feature that's been added to a lot of the iPads that allows you to be in the center of the image. So if you're FaceTiming or something like that, it will automatically center you, which I think is really cool. I think a lot of people are saying that you get maximum quality in vertical and you get the maximum quality in horizontal as well, which I think is slightly misleading because you are still cropping into that sensor either on the sides or in the top, but it does just mean that you will get the same vertical as you will the same horizontal as well, which is cool. I think it's really handy to be able to just hold that phone as you would naturally. And it would be honestly really cool if you could do that with all the back facing cameras as well. But it's easy to think that nowadays this technology is kind of fading into the distance with the new wearable glasses and having cameras on those as well. I really think that that's going to be the direction we're going to go in the future, and we're going to lose those things that we're looking at. They're going to be ancient relatively quickly. I say that, but maybe we're at least 10 years off of that. Anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Is there any other tech that I've missed that you'd like me to cover? What do you think about the new Ray-Ban display glasses? Are those something that you'd be interested in? Let me know if you want me to make a specific video about any of this tech in the future. Like I said, I'm going to be getting all of this products hopefully pretty soon, so I'll be able to give you my hands-on reviews of those as well. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.